There were several new hires made in college football this last week for what has been an insane coaching carousel. Let's go through and grade each of these new hires, starting with Neal Brown at North Texas, which I'm going to give a B- to. I think Neal Brown was a little underrated in his time at West Virginia. Still, obviously, things didn't work out. I look at his time at Troy as a promising group of 5 sample size there, but I do think the North Texas job is just a little bit more difficult with how good some of the top tier teams are in the American. So it's going to be a challenge for sure, but a B-, I could see it working out. Bob Chesney to UCLA gets a B. A lot of his ties are to the East Coast and the Northeast and not necessarily in California, so I'm a little worried he might be out of his depth there, but his resume certainly speaks for itself. He's won everywhere he's been. He did, however, take over a well-oiled machine at James Madison after Curt Cignetti left, so I wish we could have seen a little bit more of an FBS sample size for him, which is why it's a conservative B. Tosh Lupoi to Cal gets a B+. I actually really like this hire, and I think in an ideal world, he's your Brent Key. He's a guy that stays extremely loyal to Cal as an alumni and just never leaves. However, what I will say is he hasn't been faced with a ton of adversity in his career. He's been in some great situations at Alabama and in the NFL and now at Oregon over the last couple of seasons. This is going to be the biggest challenge of his career, so we will find out if he is up for it. Brian Hartline to South Florida gets a B+. I know the knee-jerk reaction is to say, oh, A+, he's recruited all these elite wide receivers and developed them at Ohio State. It's extremely impressive stuff, but it hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows. He struggled as a primary play caller for Ohio State in 2023 and actually kind of got demoted to no longer call plays, and so his ability to lead a team in a full roster is still a little bit in question, and so there are some questions. The only ties he has to the state of Florida as well are from his time playing quarterback at the Dolphins. Outside of that, it's been mostly tied to Ohio. Mark Carney to Kent State is going to get an A-. This is a hire that was made a long time ago during the regular season when they promoted him from interim to permanent head coach. Am I saying he's a better coach than Brian Hartline? No, I'm not saying that. There are levels to this stuff, and what's considered an A- hire at Kent State is not going to be considered that at a lot of other places. But in this case, he led them to a 5-7 year, one of their best years in a long time. I think you had to hire him, so they get an A-. I know everybody says it, but Kentucky got their guy. Their hiring of Will Stein gets an A. He is a Kentucky guy through and through, and the track record of recent Oregon offensive coordinators that have been hired away is pretty dang good. I think Stein can do some great stuff at Kentucky. I think he's the right guy for the job. Collin Klein to Kansas State is an A. Talk about perfect timing. This guy has proven his offensive chops, not just in his time at the Wildcats, but now with Texas A&M. He is an elite offensive mind. I have no doubt he's going to have tons of success with the Wildcats. And at number 1, it's a hire that was made a little while ago, but James Franklin to Virginia Tech is an A+. I just didn't cover it in the other video, but yeah, obviously an A+. Virginia Tech is a top 20 recruiting class in college football right now. They're flipping all the Penn State recruits. Franklin has a lot left in the tank. If he does at minimum exactly what he did at Penn State for the last 10 years at Virginia Tech, he will go down as one of the greatest Hokies coaches in history. I just think it's a brilliant hire, a home run hire, the definition of one.